How's it going, guys? VaulSC here. We're going to take a look at Game 4 of the INZO'18 Infinity Tournament. ISS 2-1 so far, going into the fourth round. Got to pull something out of the bag, basically. Got to really win the next two games quite convincingly. This fourth game will be up on this table, and it's going to be Comm Center. This is the spaceship table. My friends from Hamilton have brought up their customized sort of setup here, and as you can see, it's not really great for sight lines. Very constricted, very dense, and to be honest, I'm overjoyed that I play on this table because with Imperial Service, I've got 8 Guangxi, I've got the smoke grenades, I've got some pretty good close combat units like the Crane and the Ninja, so I'm really loving this table. With this particular game, I'm going to grab the yellow. So Imperial Service are going to be deployed over here. And I'm up against Aleph for this game, my buddy Matt with his Aleph, and the deployment zones are going to be down here. So Imperial Service down here, and Aleph sort of down about here. And we're going to be going for the 9 consoles in the middle of the table for Comm Center. I really like Comm Center because it's an opportunity to look at 2 particular strategic avenues. You can either go for the consoles, you get a massive point swing for having more consoles than your opponent, but there are some other ways to go. You can get your opponent's designated target with your data tracker, you can complete the classified objectives, and you can actually beat an opponent who's just laser focused on the objectives and only gets the objectives without getting any other type of points. Alright, my opponent placing his HVT around about here. My HVT around about here. And, by the way, my Ninja deployed on the rightmost objective. So this objective, if you take a quick look around about here, that's where my Ninja is deployed, to the right. So that's his setup. On my right-hand flank, and this is, I'm about to look at this particular zone of the table here. So that particular zone of the table looks like this. We've got the Guangxi control device, the 4 Guangxi. Actually, let me get the rubber, get the eraser. So these 4 Guangxi here are part of the command group, the link team. Whereas this guy is one of the free-range Guangxi. We've also got a soft protect up here. Left-hand side, though, let's grab out the pen again. So, Crane rank, smoke grenade launcher. This is the multi-sniper here. We've got a free-range Guangxi, Yudbot, the lieutenant, and the hacking device as part of the link team here. Sensorbot, free-range Guangxi, another free-range Guangxi, Warcore. This is the HVT here. Plan is to basically hold off because I'm going second. I won the dice roll and went straight for second. And my opponent's going to have to be coming through this direction here, and I've got this covered by Guangxi, Chain Rifle, and Crane Spitfire here. I'll also be able to pull back this way with the Guts check from the Guangxi, from the Crane if I get attacked. My opponent, playing Aleph, has got a Minesweeper bot here. Some sort of post-human engineer or doctor here. Flash pulse bot here. He has a net rod there, HVT here, designated target. There's, I think, some sort of Dakini or Tharakitai or somebody back here. Can't quite see in close enough. Let's bring it out again. Okay, so we've got a Myrmidon officer at the back in the deployment zone. We've got a Danavas hacker. There's the Yudbot over here. This is a an Imatron that basically scattered all the way across to this part of the deployment zone. Here's the other Imatron. This is another post-human. I believe this is the one with the double SMGs. Krakot with SMG over here. I like it. Another Minesweeper and another Flash Pulse bot around the back. I quite like this list because this is the kind of left list that I play personally. It's the kind of one that basically takes as many orders as possible to fuel the efficiency of the rest of the profiles. My reserve trooper is the Ruishi, planning on getting into the smoke grenades and blasting them at close range where they can effectively only dodge or reset. If you move into a smoke cloud, you're in their zone of control. They're allowed an ARO. They can dodge, they can reset. They have to take the ARO, otherwise they forfeit it. If you can then see them with your MSV2, you can just blast them with no repercussions. And my opponent running Achilles! Level 1 Achilles, Spitfire, my favorite Achilles profile of all time. The man. Alright, so impetuous move, Krakop moving out towards my HVT, my designated target. Moving around here, so he's going to be in range here of this Warcore, and having a bit of a shootout with the Warcore. Unfortunately, I believe the Krakot actually loses out on that. So the Warcore, unbelievably, manages to flash pulse him. So nothing's going to be happening to the HVT for this particular part, the stretch or the phase of the game. Achilles, though, moving out with his data tracking target. Moving ever closer, so he's just moving around here. So he's coming around through here. And his plan is going to be to get to this position, where he's going to be able to stand here and fire at my crane in the link team. So let's see how that goes. Here we go. Alright, so Achilles moving to this spot here. That's the position of Achilles right here. My Guangxi is here. I've got a Warcore here. I've got a designated target here. And he's going to be coming a little bit further forward, because if he gets to this spot here, he's going to be able to fire right through here. Get to the crane. And that's what he does. You can see the crane back here, Achilles here, and there's a bit of a shootout. So the shootout predictably goes in favor of Achilles. Crane rank manages to take a single wound and then dodges back, or guts back into cover, total cover. And that's going to allow Achilles to actually have a shot at my HVT later. And he is the data tracker at the end of the day, so he's going to be able to net a lot of points from doing that. Looking back a bit further, we've got a spot where my crane rank can push back into total cover here. Achilles is in this spot here. He's going to be able to take out the data tracker here. And the Guangxi not yet able to get line of sight with his chain rifle, but he is ready and set up in case that does happen. This guy here is able to dodge though, because he does have line of sight of Achilles through that line. There you have it, the crane rank surviving, taking a wound, pushed back a little bit further, maintaining the link low and maintaining his life, which is very important. So my opponent, doing the clever thing after wiping out the data tracker, is going to be moving back. Achilles has come back to the spot here. He's going to be moving back around here later on. And he's also using a coordinated order to reposition one of his robots, his remotes. So Achilles, again, moving back around here. He's going to be coming and setting up a position next to his own designated target. And this is a smart thing to do. He knows that in the active turn, the Imperial Service Troopers are going to have an advantage against him, despite the fact that he's a demigod, and he'd be wiser off repositioning. Also, his proxy with the submachine gun, twin submachine gun profile, is moving out, picking up a point from this console, just getting a bit of button pressing done early, and moving out through here. So she has taken up a spot after pressing the button and moving through here, and setting up prone on the staircase. Note that there's a doorway here where I'm going to be coming through and attacking Achilles. So my plan is to come through and attack Achilles, but she is prone. She's not hackable. She does not have a hacking device. So she's sort of harmless and out of the way there, but in his second turn, if I leave any troops around this location, I'm going to get shot at pretty badly by that post-human. My turn now. So Imperial Service, Guangxi moving around. He's going to be planning on moving around through here and basically wiping out the Imatron and, not the Imatron, the AI beacon and the Krakot with his chain rifle. That's his plan there. And designated target has been made unconscious, by the way, as you can see from this little marker here. A lot of other impetuous moves here from this Guangxi and this Guangxi, but the other Guangxi is just staying the same position because they have a link attached to them. Thank goodness. Alright, now you can see what my plan is here. So the Guangxi in group 2, I have lobbed a smoke grenade over to this spot here. As you can see, this is going to allow the actual position, the middle of the smoke grenade is actually this dot here, so it's going to cover this location. The plan is to move the Rushi out through here, along the hallway, into the spot here, and set up there, because that will allow the Rushi to come within zone of control of Achilles. As we pointed out, you move into zone of control of an enemy model, they have to reset or change facing or forfeit their arrow. The Rushi with MSV2 can see Achilles because it's in a smoke grenade, shoots at him, can't get hit by the nanopulsar, so that's the plan. We've got a sister fire on him as well. So Rushi moving through. Rushi now moving in position. So the Rushi is caught up against this piece of cover here. It's inside the smoke grenade. The smoke grenade technically covering this area here. And Achilles, even though he's in suppression fire, can't shoot back. So there's a bit of a blast here with the Rushi. I believe, though, that he can use his guts move, I think, to come back into cover. I'm not too sure how that works. It's a bit nebulous, the whole ruling for guts and the wording in the rulebook. Technically, in one sense, I have total cover because Achilles can't see me. But on the other hand, by shooting him, I give up line of sight to myself, because if I can see him, he can see me, and vice versa. So I think he's supposed to be able to guts back here, but during the game, that wasn't quite clear as to what he could do. We have some more movement. So I've spent all of my orders in Group 2. The Rushi has tried to kill Achilles, done 2 wounds on him, but he has survived. So Achilles tanking quite a lot. He's got armor 5, +3 from the cover. Assisted fire doesn't remove the cover bonus, so he's down to 1 wound, but the Crane is going to be moving out to try and move around to this spot here and take him out at the end of the day. We also have a Guangxi around here up against the Krakot, who I believe has removed the Krakot. Here comes the Link team now, so the Crane moving out with Link in tow, moving through. As you can see, this is their positioning, and they're going to move right around here. Don't really have anybody to take on. There is a bot in the background here, which my Crane is going to temporarily engage and blast with his Spitfire, removing him. There's a sniper rifle looking as though he's setting up covering fire. Doesn't need to. The bot is already destroyed. So what's happening now is that the Crane is moving to position to target Achilles, and Achilles can respond with a dodge or a Spitfire or whatever he wants, but I believe he shoots back with a Spitfire, and my Crane initially uses his own Spitfire, but there was one point where I did use the nanopulsar as well. I have driven Achilles back into cover now, so Achilles is behind the total cover, Crane's moving around through, hasn't been destroyed by any arrows. Another photo here of the setup, so having to be very careful here because my lieutenant is this model here. So he's going to be very vulnerable on the active turn, especially since he's got this post-human positioned here in the middle of the table. But I've got to get rid of Achilles, that's so important. And also, there's an opportunity here for me to move my Crane around. And note that the Crane, if it moves into this position here, and just moves a little bit out here and then comes back again, can hit Achilles, who's there, and his designated target. So at the very least, even if I lose the Crane, so long as I destroy his designated target, I equalize the game, because he's killed my designated target with his data tracker. If I can kill his designated target with my data tracker, then we're even on points. And with the second turn, with the last turn, I should be able to move out with my specialists and take more consoles than him. Alright. So he's got a camo marker back here, but let's just come back to it. The result of this is that the Crane does indeed move in. Does, I think, blast off like 3 nanopulsers. He's got 2 base nanopulsers, plus an additional nanopulsar from the Link Team bonus. Blasts Achilles, blasts the designated target, has another go with the Spitfire. All I remember from this conflict, and it's a bit hazy, is that Achilles dies, and the designated target dies. And the Crane Spitfire eventually dies as well. Maybe not this turn, but the next one, but he dies pretty quickly. So, my opponent, moving out now with his Naga. Command, basically a camo token there. Continues to move around. There is a Crane. So once he gets into position, opening up with the Naga, moving through, firing a shot through at the Crane with his combo rifle. The Crane does manage to dodge back around. But he does have a post-human with double SMG, so that one's also firing at the Crane as well. I believe that does take the Crane down, so he goes back into camo state and moves the Naga around through here. The Crane has been taken out, so all he's got to do is deal with the Rushi. So the Rishi is still in assisted fire mode. There is also a sniper rifle here with a Celestial Guard, but the Crane rank was the link leader, so the link is down. So Naga moving through and putting a mine next to the Rishi, and if the Rishi reacts with an ARO, the mine's going to go off with a blast template there. So if he does move around with his Naga, he can shoot at the Rishi, and the Rishi can shoot back, but the Rishi is going to take a hit from the mine. That's exactly what happens. So the Rishi, knowing that he's going to die either way, responds with an arrow ballistic skill attack, fires the Spitfire with assisted fire at the Naga. Naga shoots back with his combi rifle, and amazingly, the mine explodes, blows up the Rishi, but the Rishi actually destroys the Naga in the process, so it's a really good trade for the Rishi. His flashball spot repositioning here quickly. And then it's into turn 2 for Imperial Service. So at this point, the link has been moved, all of the Guangxi moving out, and they are swarming at this point. They're all moving towards the enemy deployment zone. The link leader here has no control over them. The link is gone. All the Guangxi moving out through the right-hand flank of the table. In the overview, so the Rishi is gone. I've got my link set up. Thankfully, my lieutenant's alive here. I've got a control device here with smoke grenades. I've got a hacker here, so I can form a small link team of 3, and those 3 can move back through this direction and pick up some objectives on their way through. I've got a victorious Guangxi over the side, having removed the Guangxi here. Just move my camera. And he's en route to this part of the table. We've even got a sense spot out the back. Garuda appearing on the side of the table. Notice that the walls are actually next to the side of the table here. There's a ruling here where you're allowed to just place next to the walls because you can't place next to the table itself. Garuda appears here. The Minesweeper has no weapon at all. The Garuda then follows up to shoot at it. And then setting up to cover this particular line on the enemy deployment zone. Note that the enemy deployment zone is here. And he hasn't actually taken this objective yet, so the Garuda is just getting in the way, providing an annoyance, providing an obstacle, an arrow against potential enemy movements. Ninja now moving through, picking up this objective as he always planned to. Moving through, picking up the secondary objective on the right-hand flank. So this is right-hand flank, one objective towards the center, picking that one up as well. Then he moves over to the third objective and picks that one up as well. So we're going in a line. It's almost like tic-tac-toe here. We're not actually playing the tic-tac-toe mission, but he's going and grabbing all 3. Alright, so we've got a Yudbot moving out and the Sophitek. Note that the Sophitek is moving through and going to the middle objective, grabbing this one. So my plan in turn 2 is just to grab as many objectives as I can to make it really difficult for my opponent to take them back in his last turn. And if he can't take them all back, I automatically win. If he can only take 1 or 2 back, I can maybe recapture them in my own turn. So Hacker moving out, Control Device and Lieutenant moving out. We're all moving back over here. The Sophitek has picked up this objective down the right-hand corner of the photo. A Hacker moving through to my side and picking up more points from this particular objective here. So let's have a look at it. The central objective is controlled, I believe, by me. I can't quite remember if that was the case. Maybe I went in with my Hacker and did that initially. I can't quite remember this part of the game. The Ninja has gotten this one here, and the one further on the side. So that's 3. Sophitek has picked up this one. Hacker has picked up this one. I have not got this one here. I don't know whether I got the middle one, but there's a lot of objectives to Imperial Service at this point. And Aleph has lost Achilles. They've lost the post-human. So it comes down to this guy here. It's the post-human engineer, or doctor, moving out, but unfortunately having to contend with the Ninja. And the Ninja can just dodge or dover at once here. This is a model that has active turn bonus, but up against TO camo. So it's difficult. Plus there's a Garuda to the left. So moving out, Garuda very annoyingly firing arrows at her. She's having to dodge. She's got NWI, but she doesn't really want to lose 2 wounds throughout the turn. Excuse me. As you can tell, I've had something to drink. I've been drinking for this bat rep. It's been an enjoyable one. Good evening. Alright, so the post-human moving out, taking some arrows from the Garuda, dodging, moving through, going up against the Ninja. The Ninja is eventually taken down. but she's got a lot to do. So, unfortunately, the post-human has to contend now with two Guangxis who are plapping off with a pistol. The odds of actually killing her are very poor, but she's having to ARO rather than going and pressing the button. And if she doesn't actually take up a lot of buttons here, she's going to lose the game. So moving through, and she's got to actually press the button on this objective and this objective, and even then, she will have lost, because I've still got another 4 back in my home side that I've actually captured. In the meantime, I've got data scan. The hacker moving over to the corpse of the Krakot and picking that up. And that's basically it. I mean, Aleph, that was the last turn. So that push with the post-human, fighting against the Guangxi, the Krakot, the ninja, was only able to even try to take back one objective. That wasn't nearly enough. Imperial Service had another 4 left in the bag. Data scan picks me up another classified objective. So that gives me a massive, massive win moving into the last round. So it puts me in a position where if I win the last game round resoundingly, I can win the tournament. But if I don't, there are other people waiting in the wings to overtake me. So we'll have a look at what happens in game 5. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the drunken commentary that is VaulSC. You guys know that I like to do this. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you next time.